The Miss Marvel trailer is out, and it is a dream come true. Come check it out with us.
Hey y'all, I'm Danni Danger with Screen Fanatic.
Hey, and I'm Mars.
And we're here to blindly react to the new Ms. Marvel trailer, which we are both very excited about. We're going to do our initial watch through first, so you can get our reactions. But if you want to skip to all the breakdown, click here. I don't know why we place buttons everywhere.
Somewhere.
Oh, doodles.
I'm loving this comic book style.
Okay,
Yes.
so first off, I just want to say, I get it.
You get what?
High school.
Kamala. Another adventure shirt. Cute.
No, it's always hard being the nerd.
Weirdo.
You were weirdo. Boys. Excuse me.
Yeah.
You're kind of on my ship.
Sorry.
Oh, this is really getting the teenage experience.
New little fantasy land.
Deeply relate. Yes.
Come on. Hey. Already? Really? Come on. Like.
Do I have to figure out my whole future before lunch, or
The hang in there poster.
maybe they're right?
Gotta have it.
I spend too much time in Fantasyland.
No, never.
It's not really the brown girls from Jersey City who save the world.
Okay.
That's fantasy too.
I love this song choice.
You know why? Did you hear something?
Kamala?
Oh,
Oh,
her
man.
parents.
What does it feel like?
Okay. We get to see the costume in action.
I always thought I wanted this kind of life, but I never imagined any of this.
I am so glad that they're integrating all of her.
I'm a superhero.
Yes, you are. Hands in the air.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, and the poster that came out today looks great along with that just kind of looking over the city.
Wow. Okay. Yes. I really feel like I just did a lot of like
Yep.
the whole time. I'm like, I don't have any real tangible thoughts. Just okay. Let's do this. Let's do this frame by frame thing because there were some silhouettes that I wanted to freak out about or guess at, and there were a lot of bright lights.
So we got a trailer that starts out with, a girl who's got this rich fantasy world and she likes to doodle during class and she's definitely got some ideas and connections in with superheroes.
Yes.
By what we can see here with Ant-Man and Man-Ant, who are both drawn very nicely here.
Her little doodle of herself.
Okay,
Yes.
so first off, I just want to say, I get it.
Do you? Do you?
I'm a cool
really?
grown up.
I'm a cool, guidance counselor. It's awesome. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
You get what?
High school.
Kamala. Another adventure shirt. Cute.
Go. No go.
Yeah, it was kind of like, the experience of being a nerd, especially a female nerd in high school, or a female presenting nerd in high school that just kind of has to deal with this stuff. Just kind of like, oh god, that hurts.
Some kind of weirdo.
You were weirdo. Boys. Excuse me.
Oh, young love.
You're kind of on my ship.
Sorry.
But you're staring out the window.
I love this
New little
shot.
fantasy land.
Oh, her daydream. I
Her
love the daydreaming.
Daydreaming and the costuming that they've got with her fandom with Carol, because she's a really big fan of Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
That they're doing with all the stunts, and she's got the mohawk and all of that. That's just great. I'm also digging a little bit back where they're doing all the drawings on top, so it's got this kind of comic book feel to it along with it. So we're drawn into her fantasy world just to see where she's at, And we've got these three things going on where it's her fantasy world dealing with her teenage stuff and also dealing with family stuff, which we'll get to here in a moment.
Come on. Hey. Already?
Yep.
Really? Come on. Like.
Do I have to figure out my whole future before lunch, or
That line is so amazing!
It really is.
maybe they're right. I spend too much time in Fantasyland.
That is not you.
It's It's not really the brown girls from Jersey City who save the world.
So I'm wondering a lot about these cuffs because I know it looks like her costume is like a cosplay.
Right.
Totally fan made, which is great. But I'm wondering, what do you think about these cuffs?
So in the comics, she comes from Inhumans, and that's something that Marvel hasn't really touched on too much. So I'm kind of wondering if she's got the cuffs are maybe like Kree tech, maybe, or maybe Eternals tech, because they look like they're pretty old and like a family heirloom.
Yeah.
So possibly. And
Yeah. Box in the Attic says like handed down, not like found on the streets.
yeah. Yep. Let's see what these guys can do.
That's a fantasy too.
Did something happen to you?
No, why? Did you hear something?
Come on. What does it feel like?
Cosmic.
That part. The cosmic energy
Yeah.
is a really big like tying theme between that's going to be a huge theme in the Marvels, where their powers come from. That blue glow is what it kind of that signifies as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's definitely an implication of some
Yeah.
Kree technology happening
There's been some discussion of the fact that, she's not going to be Inhuman, and she doesn't seem to have the whole kind of stretchy thing going on that she has in the comics here. But I think, it's a harder thing to pull off with TV, to do CG that's like, I'm going to stretch my arm out like forever, versus what she's doing here, which works out a little bit better. CG's a little bit cheaper. But I think it's a good choice. I know there have been a lot of just kind of like, oh my gosh, she doesn't have the same powers. She does. They just look different.
Yeah, and I think they make a lot more sense for a live action. And I do think that we see like a little bit of her fist doing some of the embiggen.
Yeah.
So it's similar. It's just not going to be to that like big elastic stretchy way it was in the comics.
It's not the Mr. Fantastic type stretch.
Yeah.
It's more of kind of this is big energy fist, and my big energy fist goes out and hits things.
Yes.
Which
yeah.
isn't that different, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it looks awesome.
It's really good.
I always thought I wanted this kind of life.
I really want to know who those 4 people are.
Yeah.
Do you even know what you are?
Yeah, see, there was the embiggen fist.
Yep. And shields.
I'm a superhero.
I really want to go back to the 4 people. I'm
Okay.
like really stuck on that. Can we
Yeah,
do
go
that?
back. Hey, we saw these 4 people that we're really kind of confused about and weren't able to pause. So we've gone back and kind of done frame by frame, and there's these interesting 4 heroes that mainly look like dudes, and a lot of them are wearing what looks to be kind of ethnic clothing. So I'm kind of wondering with these 4 that maybe there's some kind of family connection or community connection back with the powers to go along with the bracelets.
Okay.
Does
I wonder if
that
this
makes
is-
sense? Because
The jewelry.
We've got-
yeah.
I'm pointing at the screen that's in front of me. We've got the kind of Highlands with the boots with the curl at the top that's very Persian. The taller guy, not all the way to the left, but in the middle, seems to be wearing a big wrap scarf.
I think maybe there's a beard in there.
Yeah. And I can't tell the guy that's all the way over to the right. I'm sorry, he looks like Jimmy Smits, but I know he's not Jimmy Smits.
I said he looks like Adam Driver, but like a normal
Yeah.
height and not.
I'm just kind of
clearly
wondering,
not.
it's like, there's this definitely, yeah, right there.
Yeah.
That guy right there.
That guy right
There's
there.
kinda like that's interesting. If like maybe there's a
Who are
connection
you?
in with, again, there's this thought of Kree, or possibly some connections in with Strange with the temple. So it's
Yeah.
going to be really interesting to see who these 4 people are.
Yeah.
Danny, that was a really good catch.
I'm very curious to see like who they are, what's going on. I also thought when I saw the bracelets, even though they're totally designed completely differently, was of course like 10 rings.
Yeah.
Because we do also have like
Right.
some different magical like sources of magic.
Yeah.
And the fact that in that post-credit scene for Shang-Chi, Captain Marvel shows up to kind of analyze the source of the power, to
Yep.
me may indicate that there could be some Captain Marvel stuff happening
Yeah.
here,
And
or some Shang-Chi.
it does have the kind of blue glow to go along with it, which is what Shang-Chi's bracelets have.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks like a really great mix of just kind of growing up weird and then suddenly having powers and having to deal with that. Marvel hasn't really done that in the shows just yet. I mean, we've gotten a little bit of growing up and becoming an adult with Spider-Man, but this is much more kind of down to earth.
This is
than
very
that.
preteen girl
Oh, yeah.
centric. I think this is going to be the summer of preteen girl joy. I'm calling it now.
Yeah.
But I'm here for it.
There's a little bit of, Scott Pilgrim with the bubbles, a little bit of Into the Spider-Verse with, the integration of comics, and then you get a little bit of Sky High, if anybody actually remembers that. That's a good mix that I'm really digging.
Yeah, I really like the comic book bubbles of it all are really great too, because the Marvel comics actually exist in the Marvel comics, so and we haven't seen any sign that they exist in the MCU yet,
Right.
and I'm really excited for that to kind of become a part
Yeah.
through Kamala, because she's like the fangirl.
Very much so. She's there. Her fandom for Carol is right up front in this trailer. And it's really nice to see, especially knowing that she's looking really up to her, and then we've got this show, and then the Marvels, where she actually gets to work with her in a movie, I believe, that comes out next year. It looks like going back to
Yes, ma'am.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier, as we've got these people walking across a threshold. That looks to me like the same building that they had all the meetings dealing with the trials of Brain. Brain is not
Oh,
getting my...
the Accords?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, all right. Together we make one brain.
So yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting thing to see how this pulls together, because we know that this is, that Kamala is going to have connection to a movie. This is the first one that we've known for sure that the TV series is going to connect directly to the movie. So it's going to be interesting to see how they pull in other things from Phase 4 and how they introduce things from, from the show out into the movies at the same time. I'm
so unbelievably ready. I think that I've been excited for Moon Knight and I've been excited for She-Hulk. But I think that, again, like I want this to be preteen girl summer. I want this to be like, we need some glee in our lives. And I think Ms. Marvel has just always been like such a really fun, exciting, just joyful story, and I want to see a little bit more of that. There's been a lot of sadness in the MCU, and
especially in the
been
shows.
heavy.
So
Yeah.
it'll be nice to have a character that is extremely relatable, especially at her age. As I said, we can all look back at our teenage years and go like, "Oh gosh, I remember that."
I know.
Or "Oh gosh, I having problems with family and discovering who your family is during that time, because you're going from a kid who just doesn't really have those discussions to a teenager that's like, hey, what's going on with this?" So
Yeah, starting to like realize as you come into adulthood that the adults around you are in fact like people who were once kids. Like she has a lot of really moving moments with her family in the comic that I'm really excited to see brought to the screen here. I am a total sucker for any show that makes me go, oh.
yeah. And there are definitely some moments in the trailer that hint that that's where they're going to be going, which is great.
Yes.
So we've had a lot of comic book stuff recently just kind of lean more towards grown-ups, with Dark and Gritty Batman and the studies of loss and PTSD and that type of thing through the Marvel shows. It's good to have something that's different, that's going to speak to another generation of kids and to adults at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. The child in us. Yeah, I think this and She-Hulk will be a nice palate cleanser for all of the darkness that's happening in the MCU.
Yeah, Moon Knight is not going to be late. I'm sorry.
No. No. But I and we don't tell, I think Marvel is also moving into a place where they're sort of starting to highlight some of their younger superheroes, which can be tricky with casting. And things like that. But, along with Ms. Marvel, we've definitely seen that push towards a Young Avengers team being set up in the future.
Yep.
And so it's, and honestly, like some of the Young Avengers and new generation content really sort of broke the mold, because I think for years and years, people in comic books were saying, you can't introduce new characters. You can't introduce new, new ideas. We can only tell revamped stories or rebooted stories about the same old characters who have been around since the 1940s, and those characters are great, but when do we give them the chance to be mentors and actually pass the
we need new stories that are going to be relatable to younger folks to be able to continue the tradition of these really great stories.
And to continue our own ability to like empathize. Like that's always something that kind of bowls me over when grown-ups are like, well, this is made for kids. And I was like, weren't you once a child too?
Yeah.
Do you remember any of that? Was it fun for you? Like
there's room in comic books and comic book movies for everybody.
Absolutely.
And that includes young Pakistani girls who love superheroes.
Yes. Yeah. And if you don't feel that way, perhaps you should kindly and compassionately interrogate that feeling, because this show is going to be an absolute joy. I can already tell, and I feel like people coming at it with criticisms are experiencing some feelings that are getting in the way of their own joy, and should maybe seek an opinion about that.
If you want dark stuff, if you want stuff that's for...
It's out there.
Grown-ups, it's totally
it's
out
still
there.
coming.
There's so much stuff out there. We've got Moon Knight coming. That's not for kids.
Kids, people will let their children watch it, but it's not for kids.
Hopefully not. But everybody should have the ability to identify with the media that they consume. That's, being able to see yourself, young teenage girls, being able to see themselves on screen, of this is what life is. This is, how I experience things. And, oh, hey, other people do too. Just the same way that adults do. So, it's important to be able to offer connections and diversity, not just in ethnic backgrounds or sexuality, but also in age.
Yeah, experiences. And the other thing is that, like, I know, I can think of a lot of, like, cis white men my age who probably grew up and didn't really have access to being able to feel a lot of the emotions that we have associated with like that teenage girl joy.
Yep.
And that's something like I genuinely wish for you, and I want you to experience through this show.
Yeah.
And through some of the other media that's coming out about, preteen girls. Like there is a certain kind of glee and joy and giddiness that like, those of us who were raised female were like allowed to express and cultivated in our own friendships, that I think that like everybody deserves to experience.
Oh, yeah.
It's like cake. I don't want to keep cake all to myself. It's so good. Everybody have some cake.
So in short, we both really want to see this series and hope that, you're just excited as we are. And that if you're not as excited, that you'll at least give the first episode a shot just to see what it is.
Yeah. What did you think of the Ms. Marvel trailer? Tell us down below in the comments. Tell us what you want to see from the comic books. Also, if you do like dark and gritty, we did talk about the Batman that one time, and you should go and watch it. I'm Danni Danger.
And I'm Mars.
And we're with Screen Fanatic. Check us next time.